Well, I'm not much for retirement. In fact, I hate it. But the Lord's been dealing with me about it, so let's talk about it. So, good morning. This is Aunt Beth. Welcome to my lamppost. My life since I unexpectedly retired seems so very small to me. And that's been the struggle for the past couple of years. And dealing with that. And then I happened to read this book this weekend, The Midnight Library. I don't know if the words are coming through correct or reversed on your side. And it really struck me. This is a person who is between life and death, and she's given a choice to sample other lives that she could have lived if her choices had been different. And so she spends time suspended, but she samples all these different versions of herself and different multiverses of the person that she could have been if she'd chosen one way versus another. And towards the end of the book, she realizes that she herself is becoming less real as she samples all these different lives. She's basically wishing her life away. She's becoming a faded original, if you want to use those words. And it really struck me that maybe that's what I'm doing, is I don't have a television. I haven't for several years, but I do have the internet and YouTube. And I thought maybe that's what I'm doing as I look at all these different lifestyles and choices, is I'm wishing my life away. And I really don't think that that's what God intended for me. You know, I think I need to be the best person that I am instead of wishing I were somebody else. Maybe that's coveting. I don't know. So I made some notes so I wouldn't forget. But, you know, YouTube has really become a way to sedate myself into ignoring reality. And that's not healthy, I don't think. I've been lost in sort of a mental fugue state. But I started thinking about, you know, the most creative and interesting pieces of art that there are pieces that the artist used what he had available and made something beautiful out of it. And I think that's what God wants to do with our lives, instead of our lives wishing, you know, we weren't a hammer, or we were a scalpel, or we were this, or we were a basketball player and we're 5'2". Take a look at what God has given us and maximize that potential. You know, a long ago friend of mine said, I refuse to spend my life watching other people live theirs. You know, he must have said that to me 25, 30 years ago, but I have never forgotten it. It really hit me between the eyes. So, instead of being frustrated with the life that I have, maybe I need to use some creativity and figure out how to maximize it. Living life fully intentionally and creatively. To realize that small by the world's standards, is God measures differently. They don't maximize the person that I was meant to be. I mean, be fully engaged, fully a part of life, fully alert to what's going on around me and sensitive to the voice of the Lord. So I think the challenge for me is to stop wishing and start living. As part of that action plan, if you will, to myself, I turned off all my electronics on Saturday. I actually looked a recipe up in a cookbook. And it was fantastic. And I went to Costco and I looked people in the eye, and it was interesting to me how many people were focused on their phone, hypnotized, right in front of their eyes. And I thought, man, that was me. I need to be more intentional about my life instead of wishing it away. So, thoughts. I hope this challenges and encourages you that God is a master artist, and he can take the little scraps and bits that we give him and make something absolutely fantastic and unique. We just have to trust him. I think it was so interesting because all of the Psalms and Proverbs that I'm in this morning talk about trust. Trusting the Lord versus choices that you make to trust in yourself. Wow, what a challenge. So here's to a creatively unique life that nobody else can live. I hope this encourages you. Have a fabulous day. All God's best.